money. It's cool.
10-6-9er, we got whores on the city. We need backup now.
Don't be so dang literal.
Well, you've got one heck of a nerve.
Oh my God! The government is here! Run!
Hey, barkeep, whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here?
Ich bin ein Springfielder.
Shut the hell up. I've got the strangest feeling someone's gonna kick his ass.
Thank you so much.
Hey, we are live here on YouTube, everybody.
Hi.
That's right, another episode. Totally Toonular every week. Hell yeah. I want to start the show off with something. Because Liz, you've been coming on now for a while.
Yeah.
Basically just been a new host, which has been amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. I'm honored to be here.
So, since you're a new host, I do have a surprise or a gift, however you want to put it. I sent it in our text group chat.
Arguably,
Sending.
it's both the same at the same time, right?
And I'm going to put it here on YouTube so other people can see it. So you can either see it right now on YouTube. But Liz,
Oh my God.
your own Toonie. Now you're officially part of the Toonular family.
That's so
And
cute.
she's got my boots.
Aw.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, shout out to Shannon in South Africa who drew that. Who does all the
Thank
Toonie.
you. Thank you, Shannon.
I want to see
Yeah.
a cartoon
That's awesome.
that Shannon just makes. If this is her style, I want to see a cartoon that Shannon does. Because
Well, we got a whole cast now of characters, you
I
know.
mean, entirely, right? Like entirely.
Well, yeah, Liz, thank you for wanting to hang out with us all this time. And
Yay,
Thank
Liz.
you. Thank you all for having me. My kids are going to absolutely love this.
Please share it everywhere.
No,
You know,
yeah,
I'll send you
100%.
I will.
Instagram and all her tags to tag her into.
Poor
No.
Reeves is gonna feel so jealous now.
He's got one.
Reeves doesn't
No, oh
have
no,
one?
he has one, but like I just know Reeves is gonna be like, what is it? He's shown up. Him and Derek have shown up more than just about anybody. And then now you're vying for the spot, and Reeves is gonna be like, now she's got a Toonie too. I can already hear him. Like he's gonna
Oh,
have a chip on
no.
his shoulder.
I still haven't added Leo into the Hall of Toonies, but we will do that soon, Leo. Sorry. But hey. But Liz, how's it going? How's your Halloween? How's
It was
life?
great. My husband and I were Cactus Jack and Chainsaw
Oh my
Charlie.
Yeah, that was awesome. So the
Thank you. And it was just funny because I think all that when we were trick or treating, kids just thought that's just what we look like. Like you were just walking by, like my kids are dressed up like Sub-Zero and Scorpion. It's very obvious of what they are. But other kids, it was so congested walking on the sidewalk, and kids were just like, I heard one kid go, "That's not the Texas Chainsaw Massacre."
Can
That's the best part of Chainsaw Charlie, man. All he did was literally put pantyhose over his head.
Exactly. But Brandon went out, and I wouldn't let him put baby powder on himself, so he went in the kitchen and put flour in his hands and did the baby powder gimmick. So he was out with like flour all over him too.
can I just say though, like in all honesty, if we're being very, very real right now, I don't think it's a costume that most kids are gonna get.
That's true.
Like
And I basically just dress like myself too. Like I always wear leggings and
and
boots.
a flannel.
If I'm not wearing a dress, that's what I'm wearing, and a t-shirt over it. So it wasn't much of a stretch.
But even at that point, like what is it? A solid Cactus Jack. I mean, just the red flannel. Like, that is an adults only sort of costume, and not in like the weird, horny kind of way,
Yeah.
but in like adults only. People over a certain age
understand
are
it.
gonna get it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Only adults understand that reference.
Huh?
Only adults will understand that reference.
Exactly. And it's a very
Ooh.
niche, like a niche sort of costume, which I thought was tremendous. Tremendous. And
With the passing of Terry Funk
Yeah.
recently, we kind of just felt like it was appropriate, like we needed to pay homage.
To the legend.
have y'all
Yes.
ever seen and James, I know you have, and Liz, I bet it's on your radar. Nicole, I don't know so much if you have or not. But have you guys seen Big Money Hustlers?
Hell fucking
Okay.
yeah.
So when Cactus Jack, when Mick Foley shows up and they start calling him Cactus Sack, is arguably the greatest thing in both ICP history and wrestling history.
Is there any there's no ICP cartoon. There was no animated anything that they did because they did the movies. They had more than one movie.
Big Money Hustlers,
Did they ever have an animation?
not so much. They had like sort of pseudo comics and a couple of like the EPs and stuff. So there are cartoonish versions of Jay and Shags, but there's no proper like cartoon. Now, what does exist, and I forget the official name of it. It's the it might be Slaughterama is what I think it is. Slaughterama. There
Okay.
is ICP, Violent J, Shaggy Two Dope, doing commentary over a bunch of old Japanese death matches. And a lot of those
Oh.
include like Terry Funk matches and Mick Foley matches.
I wonder if Brandon's
And
seen
that-
that. Because, I mean, he was a juggalo back in the day, like a heavy juggalo.
I'm sure he hasn't. Like,
So I wonder if
it
he
was
has.
one of the first like big home video releases that they did. It is amazing and hysterical from start to finish. But that's where they developed they kept calling him Drunk Terry Funk, or actually I think it was Flunk, Drunk Terry
Right.
Flunk versus Cactus Sack, and then they got Mick Foley in their movie as Cactus Sack. Yeah. I don't.
Well, Mick Foley is awesome.
I've got to check that out
Yeah.
myself. That sounds amazing.
But anyway, I only bring that up because I was also a Big Money Hustlers character for Halloween too. But we'll get there.
Hell
I'll
yeah.
explain.
We'll get there, Ben. We got a circle to go around.
Liz,
No
Liz is
cutsies.
still like we're still wandering down the street. Children don't understand why these two adults think they're in a costume. I'm right where we're at.
That was my Halloween in a nutshell. But my kids had a blast. The houses that we visited were just amazing, and it gives me hope, that people are so invested now. Now, like we've gone from lockdown 3 years ago, and we couldn't do this, and we couldn't do it the year after. Now people are going all out again. Just anything and everything, and gives me hope for the future of Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween does not seem like it's slowing down at all.
Uh-uh.
Mainly, I feel like people are fighting for more Halloween.
It's hard to be spooky 24/7 when like there are those people that reserve it for the month of October, and I'm like that. I swear to God, my stepdaughter. I might have a couple weekends ago. My stepdaughter was going around. We had her here in Hendersonville, dressed as Wednesday because I got her a little Wednesday Addams costume, and several people would come up to me and go, "Oh, I like your costume too. Oh, you're dressed like the mom." I'm like, "No, I just fucking look like this. This is just me." So it's hard to be this person 24/7 and then see people that just it's just for 1 month, then they leave it.
Yeah.
well,
Well, once you've locked yourself into a very serious, sort of motif, like a look, like a whatever, it does become sort of a thing where it is lifestyle, it is who you are versus these Johnny come Halloweens that want to act all big and bad. And it's like, just look in the closet. It's all black, it's all skulls. Like, who are you? like
You think
that's
this
my
is a
problem.
costume?
Yeah, no, fuck you. How dare
It's a
you
way of
appropriate my
life.
culture? Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
yeah.
they're appropriating culture, Liz, is what it is. That's it. Uh,
When you start testing in front of Hot Topic,
wait. Like, that's the thing I want to see. It's a protest in front of Hot Topic by a bunch of like goth kids all out.
Yeah, the little South Park goth kids burn down
Yeah.
the Hot Topic.
Yes.
well, I'm glad you had a fun Halloween. Did you get a lot of candy?
Thank you. Yeah, they racked up so that the neighborhood that we go to, there's some schmancy houses and families there. So my kids were getting like full-size candy bars and stuff. It's awesome. And then they also have outside in like the garage area in these houses, they'll have one side designated for a bar for the adults, for the parents. I shit you not.
Fun.
And then the other
They
side,
give out-
the kids come in and it's either a haunt or a nice little lady that gives them a piece of candy.
They just give out drinks.
Shit you not. Yes.
Wow.
That's
fun.
awesome.
Oh, it's
I
amazing.
visited that house like 4 times that night. You know, I would keep circling back around.
Brandon was sad because we got out late and most people were like closing up shop. And he was like, what the?
Bartender's
We were
gone.
running
I can't
behind.
get my 24. What the hell?
What the
I can
hell?
already hear him. They ain't got that special embalming fluid made with vodka and the what is it, blue caraca? They ain't got that tonight. What the hell? Already done. It's terrible.
Going home.
Well, Nicole, how was your Halloween? I mean, I saw you went out to Salem, right? I mean, that looked like a
Yeah,
good
that's
time.
exactly what I did. I was in Salem for Halloween weekend. It was super fun. Saw a lot of Wednesday Addams dressed up, Liz, much like your stepdaughter.
So cool.
So it was very fun. Actually, like, I was expecting Barbie to be the most popular costume to see, but actually I think Wednesday knocked it out of the park. There were a lot of Wednesdays there.
Yeah, I think so too. I saw. I mean, it seemed like Wednesday was like the winner this year over Barbie, which I was pretty
yeah.
surprised. I actually saw a lot more Kens than I did Barbies out there, which is.
Wait, say it again, James. Who'd you see more of?
I saw more Kens.
Oh, yeah.
out there.
You
I saw a
you
lot
know
of kids,
why?
too.
All the Kens are taking it back. All the dudes got pissed off because it like they're reclaiming it is what it is.
Yeah, much like
They're
Ken did,
Mojo-
right? That's like very meta to
Yeah.
the movie.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I didn't Barbenheimer. But no, King of the Hill, James.
King of
that's
the
what I
Hill.
felt like. I felt just like the King of the Hill. Because there I was, warm and toasty inside of my ape suit, not giving a fuck.
Well, hell yeah, that's what we're talking about this week. King of the Hill.
Woo!
Yeah,
Yay.
the show's great. I mean, I said I used to watch the show a lot when I was young because I remember this show being on TV, fucking like constantly. Like it was just no matter if it was either Comedy Central, I don't know, TBS, whatever, fucking other cable networks. Like it was just reruns everywhere. Now I don't
Yeah,
see it so much.
That's how it was here too. Once it started getting rerun, we had it Monday through Friday on Fox.
Yep. So it all depends, like, as far as syndication goes, right? Like, that's the thing. It's 100 episodes, and then you're eligible for syndication. I know it largely, like, I was the guy who would watch Sunday nights for like the first 4 or 5 seasons. And then, yeah, Liz, same thing. Once they hit that 100 episode mark, it was Monday through Friday, like 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever.
Yep.
And then if I remember correctly, now this might be an Oregon thing when I moved up there, but there was a channel that ran it in the 5 o'clock and then in the 5:30 slot too. And what they would do is like they would be in season 1 during the 5 o'clock hour, and then let's say like season 4 in
Oh,
the
wow.
5:30 slot. So you would be drifting kind of back and forth, but if you watched every day at 5, you would get season 1 as it originally aired. And if you
That's
watch
cool.
every day at 5:30, you would be getting
So they
season
had, like, the
4 every day
reruns
as it aired.
earlier of like here's episode starting from episode 1, then the new episodes come in like an hour later.
Yeah. Like a newer. So this would probably have been like maybe season 6 or 7 is when they started, and they would start getting those too. And this is what I don't know about syndication is how long it has to be on the air from the original air date until it shows up in like the reruns in like the syndicated show. All I really know is once it hits 100 episodes, unless it is a show like Mama's Family that was made specifically for syndication. So,
Oh.
yeah, Mama's Family ran every day basically from the time it started. It was not a show that fucking was like once a week. I don't think Mama's Family was ever once a week, if I
I feel
remember
like every
correctly.
character in Mama's Family should have been created for King of the Hill. Like there should have been a Bubba in King of the Could you imagine Bubba and Luann dating?
It is like a companion piece. I feel like Raytown
Yeah.
is near Arlen. Yeah, you're 100% right. And I have all 6 seasons of Mama's Family on DVD.
Great show.
It's amazing. It's my heart. Like
Oh.
100% it is. I
But
grew
they
up with
also,
Thelma
like,
Harper.
Wouldn't have made this show without it thinking it's going to be syndicated, right? I mean, that like I feel like you're making a cable show, at least back then too.
Well, it's a Fox show, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you would have that in mind. I'm sure that's like your long-term plan is like if we can get to season 5, then we got money for life.
I
Yeah.
don't know what Mama's Family is. Not to get off topic. I don't know what it is. We could talk about it another time. I'm gonna Google
Oh,
it after
I
the show.
will send you some Mama's Family.
Okay. Is it a
Vicky-
cartoon?
No,
No.
Vicki Lawrence, Betty White, Rue McClanahan,
Rue McClanahan.
Carol Burnett first season as
Oh.
Eunice.
So it's a character that originated from the Carol Burnett show.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I saw Vicki Lawrence live with my brother-in-law.
Aw.
He's equally a huge like Mama fan, and every year for Christmas he either sends me like Mama's Family swag or like Married with Children swag because like it's like a healthy thing that we share. And Vicki Lawrence was playing a casino up in Oregon while me and Jen still lived up there. And my brother-in-law got us tickets, and Jen was like, I'll drive you guys, but I'm sitting out in the car.
Sat in the car the whole time.
Didn't
That's so
want to
funny.
gamble, did not give a shit about seeing the show.
Oh, wow.
But Vicki Lawrence also was the original singer, and she wrote The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, which ultimately Reba McEntire covered it sometime in the very early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, like repopularized the song. And like Vicki Lawrence, the funniest thing she says, like the whole night, is when she talks about being Mama. She's like, and yeah, they used to have to put a pillow here, but now they don't. Now I've grown into the dress. And like she literally talks about, because look, this is a whole other deal. Like I'll do this the whole hour. I don't give a fuck.
I know. I was gonna say I do feel that. I'm curious about it.
Here's the thing, though.
Talk about.
Yeah, but still, like all this is very fitting, and anybody who knows the two understands that Vicki Lawrence could have been a real life Peggy Hill. Like that's
For
a whole
sure.
other thing.
Mm.
But
Agreed.
did you know why Vicki Lawrence got hired for the Carol Burnett show?
No.
Seriously? All right. This is amazing. She was because of how much she looked like Carol, right?
Oh.
So it was sort of like not necessarily a stand-in, but it was like this weird sort of like look-alike effect. And Carol Burnett found her when Vicky was like literally just turning 18, and then put
Wow.
like right on the show. And then Mama was born from like a fucking 20-year-old kid. Yeah. Just whatever. Anyway, Mama's Family, if people out there have not seen it, is
It's one of the most badass television shows that's ever existed.
ever. And it does fit with King of the Hill, because the whole notion with King of the Hill is, at least the way I see the series, and I could be dead wrong. I'm not. I'm very right. I'm only right. But like the way I very much see King of the Hill is that it is where other series get like crazy and come up with these wild scenarios. King of the Hill lives in a space of like, oh, so much of this can actually happen. And that's where the humor kind of lives, right?
Well, it's in the family dynamic, just like in Mama's Family. Like it's all solely in the family dynamic in King of the Hill. And I don't know if that was I didn't do much research on the origins of this, but I do know that this was Mike Judge's. Obviously, Mike Judge created it, but that Greg Daniels from The Simpsons helped him rework this. And I can't help but think that some of that knowledge of somebody like him who worked on these larger shows like that already knew the formulas and stuff. If I'm not mistaken, he also did like Parks and Rec, and stuff like that too. This is somebody whose brain was wired for television series that work on a collective dynamic of people.
And so,
like, isn't there like a Hank Hill like character like thing in Beavis and Butthead, right? I mean, that's
Tom Anderson.
yeah.
So
it's like an original character or something, like a Hank Hill before a Hank Hill.
You boys whacking in my tool shed?
Yeah.
Just a whacking off in my tool shed.
Because that's Mike Judge, right? That must be. Is that Mike Judge's
Yes.
voice? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
He did all the voices. And there's the butthead sounding kid, I can't remember his name, that shows up in King of the Hill. He's always there in like the class stuff, and particularly
he's like,
well, it's particularly when Peggy is subbing, and he's always just got some smart ass thing to say at the end. It's like I forget, he says something when they go to Mexico, and he says something stupid in Spanish. He's like, you got, blah blah whatever, but it's always like, you just got, and it feels like Butthead through and through. You just got told or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize Mike Judge did all these voices until we did Beavis and Butthead.
Same.
On our 100th episode extravaganza. I just never realized. I never pegged him as just the, I don't know, a voice actor. I mean, I honestly didn't even know who he, like, I mean, obviously I knew who he was, but I've never seen him in like interviews or like, I never knew what Mike Judge even looked like. I just knew he made a bunch of shit that I watched.
So Beavis and Butthead showed up one night when I'm watching. Liquid television was the big thing.
Yeah.
When I was really, really little and not allowed to watch stuff like that.
Nice.
And it came on really, really late at night, and it was on the weekends. And I was able to just sneak and get a few glimpses of it. And in that sneaking is when I saw the frog baseball clip. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then that shifted from Mike Judge took that from Liquid Television and was able to, MTV struck a deal with him to make the Beavis and Butthead show.
Oh, okay.
Thank God that man is brilliant.
Yeah, he seriously
that
is.
Man is comedic brilliance.
Yeah, so fucking funny.
One of my favorite movies ever. Office Space.
Office Space fucking kills me to this day.
Well, we're living in idiocracy now, though. Is the thing. Like we are headed literally into that space. Like we are the generation before that right now. Um, and yeah, Office Space is just genius.
The words of Leandro, Office Idiocracy is a documentary.
It is
That's
made
accurate, yeah.
made in the past. It is a documentary about the future. um,
Yeah,
but
but
like,
King of the Hill is such an interesting animated show because, like, unlike I feel like even other like animated family Fox sitcoms, there's still like this cartoony, goofy thing about it, and this like it is such a straightforward show. I mean, this is just like it could be just a sitcom,
bro,
you know?
that's exactly the thing about this is that as opposed to like a Family Guy or a Simpsons or like any of the or an American Dad where they have like an alien or like in Family Guy where it's like they end up at the Super Bowl through like lying about whatever, or the Simpsons where Homer goes into space. King of the Hill feels firmly grounded in reality up to a certain extent. Now there's an episode in I want to say it's like right at the beginning of season 7 where Dale has dug a hole. He's dug a tunnel from his house to underneath Hank's house to somewhere else in like the neighborhood, and Hank's walking through his kitchen one morning and he falls straight through the linoleum into Dale's tunnel. Like that's the level of wild they get. They don't go like
And they did
literally to the
Megalomart. I mean, that's pretty out there too.
But okay, but everything that leads up to that could actually happen. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's a series of events that make sense, and then when it does happen, you're like, "What the fuck just happened?" So I love those 2 episodes. Because it sets us up for like Bald Luann during what is it, season?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
which is honestly, I remember that. Maybe it's just the way I watched that show back when I was younger, but I didn't realize that happened like season 2.
Right.
I didn't know they blew up the Megalomart that early.
And Buckley fucking died
Poor
that
Buckley.
early.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was so sad.
I remember
my
him being
God.
there way longer. Like I thought he was at least a couple seasons.
That motherfucker made it through 2 seasons, a grand total of maybe 40 something episodes, and then they blow his ass up. But Bald Luann, when she enters that Sinead O'Connor phase, and she's fucking like, "I'm gonna be a photojournalist, Uncle Hank," is the
R.I.P.
greatest.
Brittany Murphy.
Oh my
What
god!
an
gosh,
amazing
I saw her.
actress.
I saw her in the credits and I was like, oh my God, I forgot that was her.
That was her either.
She is
Yep.
just amazing. She was a brilliant actress.
She was good in everything she was in. Oh, it's so fucking sad.
Very
Uncle
much
Hank,
so.
Uncle Hank. The way she just says, Uncle Hank.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, the voice is perfect. My gosh, I feel so sorry for her, but she also annoys me, which I guess is just like the nail on the head of.
Well, when you get to like her backstory, it breaks your heart, especially as a woman, and like if you've ever gone through family trauma or like redneck family trauma, especially redneck family background, she's heartbreaking.
So I must have missed
And
the
you
episode.
see how naive she is, and how genuinely kind-hearted she is, because she's just not very smart.
Can you tell me the episode? Like I didn't watch it. The one with her backstory. What happened in it?
It's all her backstory.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Tell me what happened in it.
She's pitiful. Luann's mom's in jail.
She's in jail.
Right? Her mom's in jail, and then her daddy left, but then her daddy came back, but her daddy was a sleaze.
And then
If I remember this correctly.
he ultimately leaves again. So she'd lived in a trailer, and there's an episode early on, and like I want to say it's either late season 1 or early season 2, because this is the trap that I fell into, is like I forgot how much happened so early on. Like the tornado episode where you first see Hank's butt and you see is just little man butt in the tornado when his pants get blown away and he has to make the choice of
Hey,
like,
he's got a condition, all right?
no,
My
it's
poor
not.
father had that same thing where it's just a crack and that's it. And every time I see Hank Hill, I think of him. Bless it.
But
It's a southern thing. It is a southern thing. Men just have some cracks down here.
it's just like I and nothing else. There's no
Nothing else.
there's no definition.
I just that it causes him back problems.
And he has that cushion.
Yeah, I guess the fake butt.
I love it. I love it so much.
But like in the tornado though, Hank he's got a decision to make whether he he has to save his dignity or save his life. So he ends up just grabbing onto the thing and he's blowing sideways and then his pants just whoop. And it's this weird little thin ass.
Aw.
But in that episode though too, like what you learn is Luann used to live in a trailer with her parents. Her mother goes to jail. Her dad's gone.
Like her mom tried to kill her dad.
with a,
Oh.
with a
That's something.
picture.
And that's in the first season.
Yeah.
Right.
And Luann is Peggy's. She's related to Peggy.
Like, yes.
Peggy's niece. So Peggy's sister is fucking crazy.
Oh,
Is
it's his
fucking
sister.
crazy.
Okay. Oh man.
So it's in the tornado episode 2 though, is where they learn. So the idea was that Luann had no place to live, right? Her mom and her dad had ripped apart the trailer. It was apparently quote unquote unlivable. And what you come to find out is that somehow the trailer got knocked on its side. And so it's boom off to the side. That's what's made it unlivable. Also, Luann has stopped paying the bills in the trailer. Nobody has paid them for like 6 months.
Okay.
And they're getting ready to get it gone. So Hank sees his 18 to 19-year-old niece and he's like, well, you know what? We'll pay it. We'll fix up the trailer. We'll flip it on its side. And he enlists all the boys to go out to flip the trailer on its side. And then the tornado comes and tears it apart. But Luann, even though Hank is trying to help here, Luann just needs a solid family. So she's beside herself. She is crying. She's like, you don't want me here, Uncle Hank. You don't want me. And he's like, I can't live there. I can't do it. All the memories are so terrible, Uncle Hank. And it's crazy how like deep and just heartfelt it gets. But like
And he gets her den room. I mean, I remember there was an episode where they have like a thing, and he's like, "No, I want you to stay here." And like he like lets her keep it unfolded out of the couch.
Yep, for a while, and I think that's right about this time is because like he's like, no, we've got it figured out. You can move in. Don't you want like more than just one room? You can have more than one room. You can have all the rooms to yourself. Like he's making a really good sell about like independence, and she just wants family. She just needs family because she's never had anything stable. Like Luann is fucking tragic.
She is.
I don't know how much you guys watched or like specifically what you watched, but I probably watched way too much.
I kind of scattered around. I think I did like 3
I did
episodes
too.
a season. That's what I was trying to do.
So I stopped at like season 8 and then I jumped all the way to season 13 because I couldn't remember what the final episode was.
Yeah,
But then
I
when-
watched that too right before we went on air.
So which final episode did you watch though?
That's the one about Khan. That's the one I watched.
Nope, that is not the original. That is not where the series went off.
Oh.
So
You lied to me. That's what the internet told me.
okay, so no.
No, Hulu.
No. Not even Hulu, not even nothing. The original run of the series ended with To Sirloin with Love, and that's the one where Bobby judges meet. What ended up happening, though, is they had 4 other episodes in the bag that they'd already finished that then show up in syndication. So somewhere between the show getting like canceled and between the show just being in rerun and in syndication, either they had completed or those episodes were supposed to appear either later on or something else. But To Sirloin with Love is the actual like final.
That
name. Is
episode-
that the one? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would say that episode with Khan was just put in later, like during syndication. They just threw it out there.
Yep.
Wow.
That's wild.
Yeah, I didn't even know the shows did that kind of stuff.
Is To Sirloin with Love the one when Bobby's the vegetarian breaks his heart and he eats that whole steak?
That's so early though,
Yeah, that's
Liz.
early,
That's the
yeah.
problem.
When is that?
That's like
I fucking love that
season-
episode.
I want to say that's like season.
And do you know that? Like, I looked it up when I was watching it. The vegan girl that he's in love with is voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Nice.
No.
Bill
So the one you're talking about, Liz, is fuck, I can't remember the name of it right now. The other thing, real quick, on that note, is have you guys noticed in like 13 seasons, all the episodes are puns of like movie names?
Oh, is that what
Yeah.
it is? Oh, okay. I knew something was.
Yeah,
that was like,
they're
there's, like, some
all-
clever names. Gotcha.
They're all parodies of like movie names. But To Sirloin with Love is the one where Bobby and Hank bond over their love of meat and grilling. Peggy goes to Con and Men's for like a girls' drink night. Hank's stuck at home alone with Bobby because at this point Luann is married, which BT dubs in true redneck fashion. Who does Luann ultimately fall in love with? A mulleted man who is twice her age, if not
Lucky.
slightly more. Lucky,
Tom
right?
Petty.
Yep.
Such a
Yeah.
That's the guy he plays guitar in John Redcord's band, right?
Yeah. Yep. So the kicker in To Sirloin is Bobby and Hank go out to a steak dinner. Dale and Bill and Boomhauer are all pitching ideas for what Hank can do when he's stuck at home alone with his boy, because after all this time, they still can't figure that out. Which, in a total sidebar, I think one of the greatest things is how these men compete for Hank's affection throughout this
Yeah.
too.
Oh, that's a good point.
I know. I mean, he's their leader. He's like the more like successful, normal one out of all of them.
Literally king of the hill.
Oh,
They
yeah.
all want to impress him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do y'all have a favorite of the men?
The
The,
dude
the
who like
men
babbles.
of the neighborhood?
That guy. What's his name? Baumheimer or whatever. The guy who just like babbles. And they're like slow down in an episode when he's like calling out propane leak and he like slows down, but he's still like babbles when he talks. What's that guy's name? Is it Boomhammer?
Yeah. Boom.
Boomhauer.
Yeah, him. That's my favorite guy.
I'm Bill.
Aww.
I
Yeah.
love Bill.
I'm straight up a Dale guy all day long. Me and Rusty
I'm a Dale
Shackelford.
guy. Also,
Yeah.
rest in peace, Johnny
Shackle-
Hardwick, but I'm a Dale guy.
They're all really lovable, I have to say. They're all really like endearing.
I mean, Boomhauer he's funny, and Bill is fucking tragic.
I know.
Bless it.
He's so blown.
So tragic. But
It's like, what are you doing? Just over here trying to kill myself. Nothing. Y'all have a good
Really?
dinner.
And then he just falls off the roof.
So James, who's your favorite?
I said
James,
Bill.
who's your favorite?
It's
Bill?
Bill. Yeah, like I was watching the dog dancing episode too.
So
Or-
sweet. Oh, what a cute episode.
And then just Bill in that is
Precious.
my favorite because he just gets that Rottweiler those guys trick him into buying, and it just wants to eat his face every.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes.
He's like, oh, it's dreaming, and it's dreaming of him just like tearing Bill's arm apart.
So the thing with Bill that I find to be just so incredibly interesting is how infatuated with Peggy he is.
He's
And
pretty-
how he's constantly like, you have such a good wife, Hank. Like what is it?
I didn't do much research on it, but according to roommate Bergio, there is a fan theory that Bill is actually Bobby's real dad. Hank's
what?
narrow urethra and his like obsession with Peggy. And apparently, I didn't see the
Ooh.
episode.
Huh.
I don't know where this is from, but roommate Bergio said there's an episode where they're about to all of them about to die, and Bill apparently admits to sleeping with Peggy.
What?
Not see that episode. I didn't really do much research on it, but that's apparently a fan theory.
sounds
I'm
like a
gonna have to dig
creepypasta.
on that
Watch that.
myself. That's wild. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
No, I
Can we
haven't
just
seen
say that Nancy Gribble is like the worst human being ever for
Man,
what she put Dale and John Redcorn through?
through-
And
Oh,
that poor
yeah.
child Joseph, I think that was Breckenmeyer.
yes, it was.
Yeah, I love Joseph.
Fire.
I love it so much.
So,
But
so
what a fucking garbage
Yeah.
human. I don't care how nice she is or how much she tried to redeem herself. What a garbage human.
that's
for
terrible, you're right.
14 years. For
Yes.
14 years playing both of them. I
That's
actually I watched that one too where what do you call it? Where fucking Dale and John Redcorn become like almost like besties.
Yeah.
It's
Well, they
the
kind
one.
of stay besties. They definitely hang out a lot. And see
Well, but do you know the one I'm talking about where Peggy decides that everybody needs to tell Dale
Yeah.
what's going on? Did you guys watch
I
that?
watched that one. I watched one where it might have been Joseph's birthday, and Redcorn was trying to come in to be like, I'm his dad, and they kept trying to like get him not to do it.
It's
Dale kept
heartbreaking.
following him. Yeah.
So in the one where Dale and John become buddies for like the first time, Peggy's doing her reporter gig for the newspaper. She's writing her opinion pieces, right? And she fucking is like Hank tosses out the phrase "let sleeping dogs lie." You know what they say about sleeping dogs, let them lie. And she's like, yeah, you know what doesn't lie? Dogs. Do you know what does lie? Humans. And then she's like, oh wait, that's a great idea for a piece. And then she writes it down. She goes through this whole thing, and all the guys are like, if he ain't found out yet, it's not our place, it's not our business, we don't fucking say a word.
Yeah.
And then the whole time Hank's having to skate around. Dale thinks that Peggy wants to sleep with him because of some awkward like interactions, and Peggy like trying to say something
I
but
hadn't
not
seen that
say
in so
something.
long.
She's
And there's also one early on where Dale thinks that he's like an alien child too. Like he thinks that he's the aliens came and impregnated her or something.
so ultimately Peggy writes this piece and she is marching over like Barry, like, I am going to tell this fucking story. I'm going to tell Dale what's up. And then when
Mhm.
she's facing him and she sees him with Joseph, and how Joseph is like, oh, me and Bobby are bored, Dad. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, I got $5. You can go down and rent you a videotape. And then Joseph is like, I'll go rent it. That sounds great, Dad. And he goes, you know, it comes with another $5, another $5, because you can't watch a videotape without getting some popcorn to eat. And then he hands him another $5, and he's like, you know what? Daddy wants a tape too. And he just keeps throwing money at him and like rustling his hair. And he's like, you boys have fun out there. And then he looks at Peggy and he goes, now what was it you wanted to tell me, Peggy Hill? And
Break your heart.
she just can't say it. She literally just
So-
can't.
I don't but maybe I missed it too, but what did make Nancy stop cheating on Dale?
So what made Nancy stop is literally John Redcorn and Dale becoming best friends, because there was a point where okay, so oh my God, it's so complicated. So Dale and Nancy start having sex again because now they're hanging out with Peggy and Hank and they're doing these couples things, right? And John Redcorn gets frustrated and he needs a break, so he's not answering Nancy's phone call for like one night. Nancy's going crazy. Anyway, that night she and Dale fuck. And then the next day, like she's trying to make Redcorn jealous. Redcorn sneaks into the Gribble's house, and Dale was in bed with his wife. And then Dale comes in. He goes off to get something, and that's the first time we really kind of see that Dale wears thong underwear. He's wearing like a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
up. And he gets up and he goes away, and John Redcorn's like, "What was he doing in your bed? Like, why is he here tonight? Was he scared again?" And then Dale comes back in, doesn't know what's going on, feels like his house is being invaded, comes back in, and before he can even fucking think, he just reacts, and bam, he socks Redcorn upside the head. And when he realizes it's John Redcorn, he feels terrible. He'd come by late tonight to heal you. Did he not know that your migraines are not, or have been much better recently, Nancy? My friend John Redcorn, no. Like, he's so fucking bummed that he has beat this man upside the head. So Dale starts to nurse him back to health. Then Dale starts to help him with a Freedom of Information Act request. Because John Redcorn is trying to get fucking money from the government.
Trying to get his land back, right? I mean,
Yes.
that he doesn't get back.
Entirely. And that's how him and Dale are like really bonding. And then it's basically John Redcorn that sort of breaks it off with Nancy at that point. Dale, you are a true friend. And yeah, anyway, it's fuck crazy. Those three are fucking crazy. Like, I don't know.
I remember there was one episode I watched with Dale and Nancy where Dale is trying to do this the smoking scheme. Because Nancy's afraid she's looking old on camera, and then they got Luann to like accidentally pop in like on front of camera to do the news. So she's freaking out being old, and then she blames Dale's cigarettes, and Dale's like, "Oh, I can go sue the cigarette company and blame my secondhand smoking of why she looks ugly." But then the cigarette company bugs his house, and he finds it. So then he's like, I'm gonna keep like just demoralizing Nancy every time she's in the room, just so they think that like we're not the
Yeah. Dale Gribble is hands down one of the greatest characters ever. Did y'all? And it's again, I think it's season 1, maybe season 2. Like I get a little lost in there. But it's where Hank is trying to win like Lawn of the Year or whatever. Did y'all see that?
I think I did see this one.
When the people visit the houses,
Yes.
like the committee visits the houses, yeah.
And he ends up his lawn doesn't look as good as Khan's. And why? Is ultimately because Dale has been poisoning his grass once a week. Why? Because Dale's business is not going so great, and Hank's just, I'm trying to help my friend, and then he has to tell him not to, and then Dale laces his yard with fire ants. Hank goes out and buys this special grass, and Dale shows up, and he goes, "That'll show him." And he releases some fire ant queens, and the next thing you know, there's these fucking ant hills everywhere. I love it.
You see the episode where they all became firemen for a day?
Yes.
No,
I haven't seen that since it aired.
My favorite when the last bit of it's like this Rashomon-esque thing where they like ask each of them their side of like, the story. And fucking my favorite is they go to Boomhauer's side of the story. And like in his world, everybody else speaks like Boomhauer. And then he speaks
nice.
like, perfect like gentleman type English.
Nice.
So there's a beautiful Mama's Family tie-in too with gooseberry jam to that. Liz, I don't know if you remember the episode where they hit, I want to say it's the girl from Vent hit Mama in the chin with the big pot of gooseberry jam, and then each one of them is telling their story and how it went and who hit Mama.
And it's different every time.
Different every time. Same thing. I love it. But that's why that's why a show like King of the Hill really works, though, is because like there's so much human nature inside of this, and more so than in so many other cartoons. Like I think it was James that said this could be just a sitcom. Like I could see this live
Yeah.
action.
Yeah, and
that's a good
like
point.
when I like look back at that firefight episode, I mean, it's like it's about them living their almost childhood dream to be like, oh, we get to be firefighters, we get to drive the big truck and
Aw,
make the
yeah,
noise.
we like get to live next door to each other on the same block and like drink beer on the corner together. That's so cute.
Yeah, like when they all get the couch. You feel like
Oh my god!
Big
when Bill is face down hugging that cushion
Yeah.
when they're trying to take it away.
and they try to pick him up, but he's too fat, and they can't pick him up.
like there are just these essential moments throughout this show that are unreal.
And there's so many. I'm about to have to leave, and I apologize, but I'm about to have to. I have to get up for work early in the morning, and Brandon does too. But
You should give you a rating
if-
too, you know. before-
Yeah.
my rating is, what's our highest one?
It makes you come.
It makes me, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. I didn't want to say it out loud, so thank you, James. But there's so many moments that I quote still. Like this has been going on since what, the late 90s. So
Closer.
I don't think there's a few days that go by without a quote from King of the Hill coming out of my mouth or me thinking it.
Nice.
95 or 96, Liz. 95 or 96. Yeah. 13 years.
I will leave it with, that's my purse. I don't know you.
Oh my
That's my
god,
purse.
so good.
I don't know you. That's my purse.
Liz, before you go, really fast, I'm drinking a twisted tea, and I thought of you and Brandon at
Brandon will be
Spirit.
so happy.
on Fright Cap.
Do you
guys
like
have
it?
to- Yeah, I do, and it's a raspberry flavor. On Fright Cap, on Liz and Brandon's podcast, we were talking about twisted tea, and I was at the bodega, and I was like, oh, I'm actually gonna get this particularly, and I thought of you guys, so yeah.
That is his go-to. If it's not Coors or Miller Light, he likes twisted tea. So,
It's so
that makes
good.
me happy. A little bit
Yeah.
of the South, the North.
Yeah, there you go, in the north. Yeah, rocking it. Yeah, you guys are awesome.
All right. Well, I'm gonna head out. I love y'all.
Enjoy it, Liz. Be
Bye, Liz.
well.
Have a great night.
Man, this episode's crazy today. My computer still's not on.
Oh, is it not?
Mike.
Uh-oh.
Nicole's mic's not working. Liz
I
had
know, and I was late to the group chat. I don't know why it's not showing up on my Skype. I'm so annoyed. I'm so sorry. I don't
But
know.
hey, we're still here. We're still recording it, so we'll salvage this episode.
Somehow.
But
And
yeah,
in true form and fashion, I'm going to take a piss.
All right, so James, I guess it's you and I.
well, yeah, I mean, Nicole. So you said you loved King of the Hill when we the last you're on. I mean, when did you start watching King of the Hill? I mean, was it just always just on?
It was always on, but I feel like I was in my mind for a long time, like, it's like the lesser show to Beavis and Butthead, to be honest. But then I started to watch it more in like my late 20s. Like I remember watching it. I lived in Queens. I used to live in Sunnyside, Queens, and I got really into it in like 2018. I was like, I'm gonna pop this on. I was like, wait, this is like one of the best written shows, like kind of ever.
Yeah, I feel like when I was younger watching it, I kind of wrote it off. Not that I didn't. I mean, I remember watching it all the time, but it was always just like, yeah, that's just King of the Hill, whatever. It's not as flashy or crazy as the other shows I was watching. But now, looking back at it, especially rewatching it now too, even, I mean, it's just so funny and it's just so like real.
There's so many great one-liners too that I'm just like, it's like they're being honest, but it's like should be sarcastic, like I'm trying to think, like just the way like what's his name, like Hank is like relatively disappointed in Bobby for not being like a man's man. Oh look, oh my god, Ben's cat just
Yeah, there's a cat.
That was very cute. It's like a cat tail over there.
The cat has to say something.
Yeah. And I fucking like I love Bobby. Like I relate to Bobby very much actually, and how his like I don't know, he kind of wants to be like different in this like environment that he's in.
Did you watch the religious Sum 41 episode?
Oh yes, I did. So I have a question about that. First of all, yes, I did watch it. Did Sum 41 like voice the characters? Is that okay?
So they did, but also
Okay.
there's one line that's definitely not one of their voices, which I thought was weird because it's their voices for all of it except for like one line, which I thought was weird.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, like in that early scene where he's like, "Do you want to be saved? Like, do you feel lost?"
Yeah,
Little
when
boy, do.
yeah,
Okay.
like when they first meet Bobby, it's all the band's voices except when Derek says his line. It's not his voice, but then he also does have his voice like a little bit later. It's weird. I don't know.
Wonder what
Maybe
that
it
is.
just sucked. So they
I wasn't sure if that. So I love. First of all, I love that episode. And that was one of the favorites that I watched. I wasn't sure if they were gonna like play at that concert later on. I was like, oh, is somebody gonna like rock out here? Like
random skateboarding cameo for some reason. Now I love that episode too because Hank Hill has a line. I'm trying to remember it where he was like, church and rock have to be like a separate thing because like it's like church
Oh.
making the rock lame or something
Yeah,
like.
that's what it, yeah, he's like, that was like the one. He's like, you're not making church better. You're making rock worse.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
they're
is
like,
true. Like so, like I remember when I was younger, my friends, they were like two brothers I was friends with, and they brought me to their like church thing. Like I don't know exactly what it was, some church party thing. So I went to it, and they closed out like the whole event with like a Christian rock band, and I'll never forget this. This guy did a cover of that Fort Minor song, "Remember Me" or "Remember the Name" or whatever. Where it's like 50% pleasure, 100% whatever. You know what I'm talking about? It
sorry,
was,
I'm actually not sure if I'm
Nope.
familiar. I want to ruin your story. Yeah, I don't know, but I'll like check it out. But anyway, yeah.
it was a very pop. It's like it was just be like everywhere. It was Mike Shinoda from in Lincoln Park had like his side band. He had that song like
Shout out
like
Lincoln.
50% struggle, 100 whatever.
Mm.
It was everywhere for a minute. But these guys did a fucking like religious Jesus version of it, and it was like just like the worst thing I could have ever
Oh my god, and that's what they reminded you of, like that episode, like you went to a show like that.
been to, like that kind of Christian rock stuff. And it's as bad as Hank Hill makes it out to be.
So there was a place in Goodlettsville here called Rocket Town. Maybe it was in Nashville. But it was a venue that catered specifically to like Christian like alt rock bands back when I was a kid. And I went of all the people I went with my homeschool friends because my homeschool friends were very like their parents were very Jesus-y, but they understood like the appeal of very worldly things like rock music. So it was bizarre. I don't know if they did this at the show that you went to, but at the show that I went to, they fucking like halt the whole thing in the middle and like people have like hands up. Motherfuckers are like swaying in the middle of it.
Actually, if I remember, I mean, this was like I was literally Bobby's age. I was probably 13.
Right. Same.
I barely remember. I just remember there were definitely some other shitty Jesus covers of other popular rock songs that they played.
I like that they take popular rock songs and make them Jesus-y.
It was so weird. But it became this like fucking like testimonial thing that was very bizarre to me. Very, very bizarre.
To that episode, that was Gene Simmons who plays also the rock singer's dad. Who has
that was a great character. He's like, "Don't you remember?" He like lifts up the back of his shirt, and it's like all the commandments.
But that's also very Gene Simmons though, right? Like is it to sell everything, including the commandments.
Yeah, no, that was a good episode. And him and Bobby have that little bit at the end of it where he's like, they showed him all the past stuff that he was into. He was like, I didn't want Jesus to end up in this box.
Oh,
So
yeah.
but and I know this was like 20 minutes ago, but to wrap up to Sirloin with Love, the actual final episode, Hank and Bobby, they go through this whole thing. Bobby joins a college level meat judging team because Bobby inherently knows so much about meat just on his own. Like he's a savant. He joins the team. He flubs like one gig, one competition. He flubs a judgment call, And then the team wants to ditch him. Bobby wants to ditch the team. There's this weird rivalry. People are throwing pepper in each other's eyes. Hank charters a bus. He doesn't know that Bobby's going to quit the team. Like, there's all of this shit. Ultimately, Bobby ends up going to state. The bus gets hijacked with all the other members on it, and Bobby has to compete by himself. And basically, he wins it for this college that he's not even attending, that he's fucking like, he's the savant kid that shows up there, wins state by himself for his school. And then the show is wrapping up with him and Hank at matching grills. He got Bobby the Wagner char baby or whatever, like the young person starter grill, to go with his char king, and the two of them are grilling these steaks together. And then fucking, like, the next thing you know, there's all these beautiful, like, little cutaways of everybody else in Arlen, like all the other people, smelling this wonderful meat that the two guys are cooking. And they're cooking together, and everybody starts going over to the Hills house. And then all of a sudden, one picnic table becomes two. They're working together to do that. And everybody's sitting around. And you have all the families, all the ancillary characters are just there in the Hills yard. Bobby turns around. There's one steak left on the grill. He looks up at his dad and he goes, "Well, I guess this is the last one." And then Hank looks down at it and goes, "Huh. Son, I reckon you're just getting started." And he smacks him on the back. Bobby scoops up that steak, puts it on the pile of steaks, and Hank goes, "I reckon you'll be grilling for what is it, something along like the rest of your life, boy." And he's like, "You're just getting started." And he smacks him on the back. And they go and they feed everybody. And there's this beautiful pan up, like right from all of them at the tables, pans up across all the rooftops. And then in the left-hand corner is the Arlen Water Tower with the name on it. And it is the perfect ending.
Yeah, that is an ending better than the manic depressive con episode I watched.
Right. Again, not the ending. That was the on-air ending, was to Sirloin with Love.
That's a good ending, because it feels like, you know, throughout all these seasons, it it feels like Hank also feels like he got through to Bobby in some way, or he feels like there's hope in the way Bobby's going to progress.
You've watched this father and son this entire time never connect on any level and try so desperately hard to.
Yeah.
And then finally there's this one perfect moment, right? Yeah, I love this show. I love this show.
I remember like the church episode. They were like, "Oh, you have to come to this youth group this amount of times a week," and then Bobby's like, "Dad, if I do that, I'll have no time to play any of the sports." And he's like, "All right, come on, don't do it."
Don't worry about that.
I like when in that episode, James, that you were just talking about, when like Bobby's wearing a shirt that says "Satan sucks," and Hank's like, "I don't like that," and his friends are like, "What don't you like about it? That says Satan sucks? Would you wear a shirt that says Satan rules on it?" Like, what don't you like about it?
Do you guys see the Japanese episode where Cotton goes to Japan?
No, that sounds fun though.
I think so. I know what you're saying.
He tells everybody that he's actually going there to apologize to a widow of like a man that he killed in Japan when he killed his 50 men. He was going to go apologize to the lady, but it turns out that he actually used to date that lady. And then we find out that Hank has like a Japanese brother that he meets for the first time.
What? Oh, wow.
Cotton. I thought you said con. I was like, that's not. Yeah, I thought you said con, not cotton. Hang on. I got to let Loretta out. She's going nuts. Hang on.
No, that episode is really good, though, because it's when Hank meets his, like, just, because you see his Japanese brother that looks exactly like Hank. Except he's got, like, black straight hair and, like, looks, obviously has more Asian facial features. But it's just, like, Hank's, like, obsession after that, where he's like, wow, like, I have a brother. He's like the Hill brothers. He just keeps, like, doing all these, like, scenarios in his head of them two getting into trouble and, like, doing brother stuff.
Oh, I gotta watch that one. I missed it. That sounds really funny.
Yeah, and then Cotton goes like crazy because fucking the other Hill brother doesn't accept him as his dad. So then Khan starts like flipping out and throwing shit everywhere and tries to spit on the. He goes to spit on the Emperor of Japan.
Cotton, not Khan.
That's what I said, Cotton.
They sound
Okay,
similar.
It sounds very much like.
'cause I thought you
you're
said
saying
Khan, too.
Every time it feels like you're saying Khan.
Well, I'm definitely saying Cotton.
Okay, so yeah, in addition to Cotton's war stories and the stuff that he's done, did you watched season what is it, season 2 cliffhanger into season 3?
Yes.
Is that the explosion?
Oh no, that's the Megalomart. Sorry.
Yeah.
Season 3 cliffhanger
Oh.
into season 4.
Oh no, that I did not watch.
When is that?
unfortunately.
That's the one. That's Hank and Peggy's 20th anniversary, 20th wedding anniversary. So this is amazing. So Hank and Peggy go skydiving, okay, for their 20th anniversary. So the season 3 cliffhanger is they're having their wedding anniversary. Both of them feel like they haven't done anything. They've been trying to have another kid, but because of Hank's narrow urethra, it's kind of difficult, blah, blah, blah. Bobby was a miracle baby, all of this stuff. But they're upset because Dee Dee, Cotton's wife, is pregnant and is just about to have her baby, okay? So Hank and Peggy they go out to a nice dinner, they have a bad time, it's just one of those weird couple fights. They go home and then they proceed to get tequila drunk and they fall asleep inside of a garbage can because Hank feels horrible, Peggy feels bad, they're shithouse drunk, and Hank's like, I can't give you another baby, I'm just gonna. And he goes out into the garage and he climbs into a garbage can. And she's like, Hank Hill, you're not getting in that garbage can without me. And then she jumps into the garbage can too. And they fall over and they end up falling asleep with garbage all over them. They wake up the next day, go out to have pancakes. And it's somewhere in there, like Hank's like, this isn't working. Is it working for you? Nope. They both have a hangover. So they go and they get a 6-pack. And then he's like, a little hair of the dog. And then they pop it and they start chugging this 6-pack. And they see people parachuting, right? So during that moment, they fucking decide to go parachuting. Well, lo and behold, they can't book it out a few days, but there is an opening that day. So Hank and Peggy go parachuting. Hank is reluctant to, but he jumps first to prove that it's okay to his wife, right? So Hank jumps.
Surprised. I feel like Peggy would be the one to jump first.
He's okay. Peggy literally brings herself to a point to where she can't jump. She's not gonna jump. And then she hears that Dee Dee, Cotton's wife, has fucking gone into labor. And she's like, I will be jumping out of this plane. She jumps out of the plane. Her chute doesn't open.
Oh no.
She smacks the ground. And that's the season 3 finale. Is Peggy Hill has fucking plummeted.
I mean, clearly she didn't die.
You don't know that, though, in season 3.
Yeah, at the end of season 3, I know
Especially
that.
after they just killed off Buck, in the...
Buckley in the second one?
Yeah, like I would buy it if I was watching that.
Bro,
Yeah,
it's like
that's
90s
true.
Game of Thrones, right? They'll kill
Yeah,
off
I
all
was
the
thinking
main
Game of
characters.
Thrones. They're killing off the main fucking characters.
They'll kill
What the
them all.
fuck?
So when season 4 opens up, they do a little recap, and then they take you to Hank and Luann looking for Peggy in this like mud field. He's stomping through. Luann has showed up to say something about the baby. She finds a cow skull, like with the horns and everything, like a bull skull, and she's like, "Aunt Peggy!" And she freaks out. She picks it up. Hank actually finds Peggy like buried down in the mud. Her back is broken.
Yikes.
And like she spends the rest of the episode in traction being treated like a baby. You know Uncle Good Hank If
Yeah,
you guys watch GH, Uncle GH, right? This is where like Cotton names the baby, and Hank's like, you know, if you call him Good Hank, it makes it sound like I'm Bad Hank.
Yeah, I was thinking.
He's so sad. He's so sad, right?
Cotton is such an asshole.
I love him. He's also one of my favorite characters is Cotton. And here's why. So in like 2 episodes after that, Peggy gets her cast off because she broke her back, right? So we go through like 1 or 2 episodes with her in the cast, and then they're like, fuck it, 6 months ahead. We advance.
Nice. Like
Now-
good should.
Right? And now she's got to relearn life, though, because her muscles have atrophied during that time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
She's a
because
strong lady.
Right, but they put her in fucking rehab, and she can't make it work. She's like, oh, she feels all defeated. She's not getting any progress, and because of the baby, Cotton and Dee Dee are still living in the house, and Cotton is the one who literally rehabs Peggy through boot camp methods. So the whole time he's like, God damn it, Peggy Hill, you get him. Or no, Hank's wife. He keeps calling her Hank's wife. Hank's wife, if you want to learn how to walk again, let me tell you something. I had my shins blown off here, there, and everywhere. And the B plot is Cotton is trying to get into a special cemetery for like war heroes. And Peggy realizes that one of his war stories is a lie because he couldn't have been in the South Pacific and in Germany at the same time. So at one point, she turns her back on Cotton. He's done too much, whatever, and she can't stand the lie. But then she realizes that where therapy has failed her, like this guy's brutal boot camp tactics are working, and it's his way of showing love. So she curtails that as she's trying to help him fill his application out. She kind of fudges the details about his story, and he gets his plot. Again, this show is built on beautiful fucking endings. Beautiful endings. So, like Peggy, they all show up where Cotton's plot's going to be, and he's in his little uniform, and he's got it like pinned up, around because he got no shins. So he got it pinned up around his fucking legs, and they all walk to where his grave's going to be. Peggy's down low; it's up at the top of the hill, and he's like, "What's up, Hank's wife? Ain't you going to come up here and look at my grave?" And she's like, "Oh, I can see it fine from here." And he's like, "No, you cannot." And then he goes running down there, and he's like, "Let me tell you something, Hank's wife. If you get to the top of that hill, you can have a dance on my grave." And Peggy is not yet walked yet since this whole thing. And sure as shit, she flops out of her wheelchair. She crawls her ass to the top of this hill to where his grave's going to be. And then she pulls herself up onto her 2 legs. Now she's wobbling like a little baby deer. And then she throws out her wrist and she goes, "I would like this dance, Cotton." And he's like, "You got it." And then he gives it, like, they have this weird,
Like
very much so. And like she's wobbling, and Cotton's got no fucking shins, and she's falling down on top of him, and Cotton's just bopping from side to side. But it's this beautiful moment between a father-in-law and a daughter-in-law that it's like this mutual understanding of what like love and respect can be. I don't know, it's a perfect show.
I see how Cotton like learns a lot in this show too, but he's just such an asshole. Like he's such an asshole. Like he's so mean to Hank's like original mom, like his actual mom, and
Dude,
marries the 40-year-old stripper.
He is mean to everybody. He is mean to Dee Dee. He's mean to the other one.
He actually killed the Fitty Men.
I think he killed Fitty Men. Yeah, I do. Maybe -5 because his Munich story is bullshit. What we learned. Yeah. That's what.
I don't think he killed Fitty Men.
Are the comments on? Sorry to ask this now and randomly, but are the comments on by chance on this video?
like I said earlier, I had kicked my cable on my PC, so my PC.
Oh.
So we are
Gotcha.
not live.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, my bad. Totally, I was like, wait, why haven't we heard from anyone? Okay, never mind. Forget it. Cool.
Yeah. Well,
Never-
we're making it work. We'll see how this.
Yes.
we
No,
can-
sorry to. I was confused for a second, but all good. Very good.
You guys see too, like the veteran parade episode with Cotton. Where
Remind me which one is the veteran parade, bro.
he's originally does. I guess he's from Houston or somewhere else. I forgot where else in Texas, but he does this parade there, or maybe it was Austin. I don't remember. But he eventually suddenly shows up in where Hank is from. Was Arlington? Arlen.
Arlen.
Yeah. So he shows up where Hank is, and he's like, "Well, I'm glad you're here," but he doesn't tell Hank that he's homeless and that he lost his apartment or whatever, and they're just living in the VFW. But then there's the parade, but he gets a job, and he refuses to let his wife get a job, even though she has a degree apparently.
Yeah.
Now he won't take any money from Hank, so he gets a job working as first as a greeter at the door of this restaurant, and then would just get into fights with people. He's like, he's only supposed to be a greeter, and he starts doing a hostess job, and he was like, I kill 50 men, I can guide a table of 4. And then he gets then they move him to the toilets, where he becomes like the bathroom attendant, and then the guy won't let him go to the parade, but then he sees his car in the parade, so then he like fucking jumps out of the window of the bathroom of this restaurant, steals his own car from the parade, and like speeds it like straight through like the parade. And then he has his like old like veteran buddies like helping him, who's also like 80 years old.
Is that the one who blows out his cheeks? Because, okay, so, and I forget the guy's name, but he was Hank's babysitter. He's going to be good Hank's babysitter. And then when Bobby shows up, because it was the anniversary, this is Cotton's old buddy, they go to, it's the something pit. It's not the pleasure pit, but it's something like that. Is the name of the strip club that Cotton goes to, right? So they do the ping pong ball gag in King of the Hill. In King of the Hill, they have the ping pong ball gag. In S4E1, you can find it. And they do what we did with Derek, where Cotton's friend spits out the ping pong ball as they all leave.
You had it in your brain without even realizing it.
Dude, but that's so essential to like so much in these stories. Like I can bet you that ping pong ball gag, somebody has to have like every instance of it in film and video somewhere.
Gotta be in some college movie somewhere.
It's definitely in Artie Lang's Beer League. I know that for sure. But anyway, like did and this whole thing is just going to be a series of did you guys see? Well,
then what was do you have a favorite episode of what you did, Ben?
I mean, so many are standout. The That's My Purse, Bobby kicks everybody in the testicles is a great one.
Yeah.
I like the one where Bobby becomes a male model. I think that's
that's a good one. I love the ending of that because Hank is coming off like such an asshole. But then you get to the end of it, and then all the kids are like chucking food at all the fat kids on the runway. It was like, oh yeah, you really did have my back. Like he's like, yeah, I know what teenage boys and donuts when you put them in the same room together.
I know what's gonna happen. I'm not trying to be mean, but I know what's gonna happen. I like that one. I like I said before, literally I would sit there and I would start watching and I would be like, oh, that's this episode. Wait, I have to stop. Oh, that's this episode. Fuck, that's next? I didn't know this was so early.
Yeah, a lot of these episodes just like came back to me. You know, like if you would have like asked
Yeah.
like a
What do you
week
mean?
ago an episode of King of the Hill, I couldn't tell you a single episode. But then like watching like 2 minutes of it, like recently, immediately that whole episode like flashed right back into my brain.
I like the one where Cotton they're telling him he can no longer like drive. He's getting older, all this stuff. It's one of the first times that we really sort of see him, I think. No, maybe it's about the third or fourth Cotton heavy episode. But General Santa Anna's leg. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
The wooden leg of the Mexican general. Cotton ends up stealing it. Like
Oh, yeah, I do remember this.
it had been in like a museum in like Iowa, and it's traveling through Texas to Mexico, where they were giving it to the Mexican government along with a check for $1,300 to say that they were sorry for taking it. And then Cotton steals the leg to use as bargaining chips with the Mexican government so he can get a fake driver's license so he can continue to drive in Texas. It is the greatest. It is hands down one of the best.
What about you, Nicole? You got a favorite episode that you've
Of
seen?
the ones that we watched, so Liz mentioned one. It was like, I wish I could remember the name. But it was one where like Bobby goes to like a women's self-defense class and is kicking
Yeah.
everyone nuts.
Bobby goes nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, that it was so funny. And he's like, I don't know you. That's my purse, and like kicks them. Very funny.
Or
James,
Hank
another one-
loses
another-
one of his balls. Like when he gets
What's that?
kicked, the
Yeah,
poor
yeah.
Hank like loses a ball. Like he's like, oh yeah, this one's a little swollen. It'll take a couple days. Then Peggy's like, what about the other one? He's like, I can't find it.
Maybe it'll surface when the swelling goes down.
I
Yeah.
like how he like goes to kick Peggy in the balls, and she's like, I don't have testicles. Like she just like straight up. That was a good one. And James, the one that you recommended with some 41 in it, where they were like,
Hell yeah.
yeah, that one was.
But I
Was-
do have a question though, right?
Yeah.
Like Nicole, if you got kicked in the crotch, I mean, wouldn't that? I know it's not gonna hurt as much as us getting kicked in
Yeah.
the balls, but that's still gonna hurt, does it not?
I guess it's just like a single kick though. I feel like it's not going to be the same like debilitating. Like
You
I
know-
feel like that like you guys, it's like kind of ends you. Like there's really you're like that's solid, but like a kick in the woo-ha for me, it's just like a little like doesn't feel nice, but it's not like the end of me.
Not
You know,
gonna-
I can move on my day.
So I always thought it would still hurt, you know.
There's enough
Did-
protection.
Did you
Like-
guys watch? And another great one is the Chris Rock episode.
No, I
Did you-
didn't watch it, and Garrett told me to watch it before, and then I didn't watch it
Okay.
with him. Right? Him and Hank like work together.
They end up working together. Hank has to go to a defensive driving class because he's in an accident with Khan at the beginning of the episode because Khan backs out the wrong way. Chris Rock plays a comedian turned driving instructor named Budasak. And Budasak does, white people are like this, black people are like this kind of jokes. He's always sort of picking on that. Bobby
Like
knows who
Rock.
he is. Huh?
So like Chris Rock.
Very much like Chris Rock, early Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And then Bobby is like, Budasak's teaching your class? And so Hank wants to show Bobby how sad stand-up comedians' lives are. So he takes him with him. And then Bobby gets on stage with Buddha and they start making fun of Hank and Hank hates it, blah, blah, blah. He's like, this is terrible. But Budasak invites Bobby to an open mic night, but Bobby has to find his voice. And he's like, you can't be telling, white people jokes because you are white. That's not the white experience, making fun of white people. He's like, you have to tell some, jokes from your perspective. So Bobby looks up online, funny, white, and I forget what the other search thing is that he punches in, but it takes him to a white nationalist website.
Oh my gosh.
And then
Uh-oh.
and then he goes to a black stand-up club telling white nationalist jokes,
Oh my gosh.
and it is hands down.
Fuck, I did
one
wish I watched that episode.
It's one of the funniest things you'll ever see. It is.
Is it like oh god, the Thanksgiving episode where he's like Bobby's like trying to explain to his dad why Thanksgiving is wrong, and his dad's like, but Bobby, like, cannibalism is bad, and he's like, but Dad, it's a part of their culture.
Right,
That's you can't hate on their culture.
Yeah, that's the episode with John Redcorn. That's the episode he was trying to get to admit to Joshua that he's his real dad. Because then Bobby invites John Redcorn to Thanksgiving dinner.
It was so but the New York Times says they were cannibalists, and that's okay because it's their culture. Like, oh my god.
One of my favorite episodes that I watched was actually a roommate Bergio suggestion. He was like, "Do you remember the episode where it just ends with somebody getting murdered?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And there's this episode where Luann is dating this like college professor that like I guess Peggy also looked up to, but he ends up being he wasn't a professor. He owned like he owned like a fucking like pig farm or something like a pig plant. They would slaughter pigs. He was like super rich, and Peggy's Luann's dating him, and he ends up being like super psychotic and starts like dyeing her hair a certain color, so she's like dresses like the pig lady from like this old ad that he had from his company. But the ending is crazy, where he chases Luann into the pig plant. And Peggy's chasing after them. They end up on like the conveyor belt. Peggy's like pulling all the switches to like stop the conveyor belt from working. Luann is able to get off, but the guy is still stuck there in his pig costume. And then as the conveyor belt's going, he gets like electrocuted. And then it immediately awakens him, where it's like he's not crazy anymore. He's like, whoa, what am I doing? That was crazy. I shouldn't have done all this. What's wrong with me? And then immediately gets impaled by like the thing that kills like the pigs, and he gets turned into sausages. And then like Peggy makes literally Peggy makes a joke about him turning into a sausage. And then it just goes to credits.
It's that's Pygmalion.
Yeah. And like
Pygmalion.
literally just goes to credits. Like they never talk about it again. And they like straight up just witness the murder of this, or just whatever, this death of this guy.
Do you know who played that guy? Trip Larson is the guy's name. Do you know who played him?
No.
I don't know who that is.
Michael Keaton.
Oh, that's right. I did see that in the credits.
Oh.
Yeah. That was Batman.
Well, he gets murdered. He gets turned into sausage. I mean, he does become Pigman, so there's that.
So the level of like guest stars these guys were able to get like throughout the series is insane.
And earlier about Sarah Michelle Gellar just being in an episode.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, Michael Keaton, Chris Rock. Like there's a level of pull that King of the Hill had, and I think it's simply because of, I mean, Sum 41, James. I think it's simply because of the mass appeal that the show had, and the reason why I think it had the mass appeal again is because there's something in there that everybody inside the family can relate to. You know, everybody can relate to it.
Yeah.
There's no, you don't have to be from a specific place. You don't have to have a specific education. You don't have to have anything. Anybody can watch this and understand it.
No. So that well, give me your final thoughts, Ben. That seems like that's pretty sums it up right there.
No, that pretty much is how I feel about it. That's pretty much what I say. Is like at the end of the day, King of the Hill is the essential family sitcom, just in cartoon form. It does have a wide appeal. You don't have to be from anywhere specific to enjoy it. You don't have to have any specific background. It's a thing that any and everybody can relate to.
So when are you gonna eat this show?
No, this is perfect. It is a perfect show, James.
I really enjoy coming.
Yes, it's a perfect show.
right, Nicole, what about you?
I do think Ben said it best. Like the interpersonal family and neighborly like dynamics in this, so I think it's really good. I do also give it a wait. Let me think if I can think of the quote without hearing it. I really enjoyed coming. Right.
Yes.
That was the highest of the high ranking for this for sure.
Well, when my button decides to work, I'll press it.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were going to or not. But definitely.
My tech is all over the place tonight. I don't know what's going on.
But definitely the highest ranking you could give this show, I would give it. It's really well written. Could be a sitcom. Holds up years and years later. As I said, was that?
They'll still hold up.
I used to think, like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, that's kind of like the lesser funny show, Beavis and Butthead. But I think it's just because Beavis and Butthead is a little bit more like out there, direct humor, where this is a little bit more subtle. But still like laugh out loud funny. The show's really good. So yeah, definitely the highest ranking possible.
Hell yeah. Oh, now I'm echoing. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now I can press it.
I really enjoy coming.
That's the one.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel the same way. I mean, this show. I was saying it earlier, Ben, when you were peeing. I don't remember this show like how I even started watching it. Like I just remember it existing in my life. Like I don't remember ever watched like I can kind of remember the first time I watched Simpsons or like South Park, even Family Guy. Like this show has just been in my life for forever. It's just like existed. I feel like as long as I've been watching television, and I remember being younger and like always watching it when it was on, but being my least favorite about all those shows. But now watching it today, besides South Park, I would watch this. I think it's better than all the Fox like animated shows, like straight up.
It really is, and that's the thing. But also, you're probably coming at it from like a teens to 20s sort of perspective. I mean, if this aired in 96 were the first episodes, like how old are you in 96? Yeah, so I mean, it's been around your entire life,
Yeah.
And like I'm 16 when this airs, and I can relate to it.
Did you it when you were watching it when it first aired?
Yeah, no, I dug it. I literally thought it was a good show. And it's a couple of years after Beavis and Butthead. But even then you can't compare this to that. They're two vastly different things. I always thought it was funny how close to Tom Anderson Hank Hill sounded. I thought that was great. But it's two vastly different things, and I think this is where Mike Judge started to truly sort of hone his craft, hone like a lot of storytelling. Because while Beavis and Butthead was great, like he'd really only done those sort of short form things. He may have done other series.
Office Space, I think, came out before this, right? I mean,
before?
Office Space was like 90s or something, right?
It was in the 90s, but I don't know if it was before this.
Okay.
That's a good question. Not sure about that.
Let's see. Office Space is 99, bro. Nope.
Oh, wow. So yeah. Didn't even. Wow.
So Office Space was after this. So it's Beavis and Butthead, and then like Beavis and Butthead Do America. I think this may have just aired when Do America came out. Let me see.
And yet also, rewatching this back, I didn't ever realize that Khan is just an anagram of Hank.
Until you see that, right?
God.
Until you see Khan say it.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. It just like a fire brain just went like, poof.
Oh shit. Oh my god. Yeah, did not realize that until right now. That's crazy.
Also, Khan is not Asian, like not voiced by an Asian guy, which I didn't know until rewatching it also.
Huh.
So Beavis and Butthead Do America came out in 96 also. So this debuted when Beavis and Butthead Do America was in
Oh, yeah,
theaters.
Mike Judge is on his up and up right now, man.
He's on that rise, bro.
Nice.
Yeah.
So hell yeah, I'm gonna give
Cool.
I really enjoy coming.
this because it was amazing and it's so funny. And my favorite, actually, before I pass it up to you, Ben, to tell us what's next week, my 2 favorite lines of this from the show was, it might have been the first episode or somewhere in the first season. Peggy becomes a substitute like sex ed teacher, and then Hank is like reading whatever books that she has. He's like, "Womb? You're gonna teach Bobby about the womb? He's only been out of the womb for 11 years."
Yeah.
And then the other one, Bill is like going crazy about his ex-wife and starts dressing like her, and then
Right.
goes to like the Christmas party, and everyone obviously is like, the party is all like freaking out, and they just throw in a bunch of random lines. And the one that stuck out to me the most was somebody at the party was like, "What is this, the Democratic Convention?"
I love it. I love it. Such a good show. But yeah, James, on that note, what is next week?
I don't know what is next week. I'm not here next week because I'm fucking working on another whole movie.
So
Oh yeah.
here's the deal. I did not realize that officially was next week. So what I'm going to need to do is, this will be a wonderful edit point. I will record and send it to you probably tomorrow morning, because I have not thought that far ahead. I had a weird day today, which I will not necessarily go into here, but I've not thought that far ahead yet.
Well, name a cartoon. Just throw a name out there.
Name a cartoon, just any cartoon.
Yeah.
Any cartoon that we haven't done yet. Fuck. No. I'm gonna be
Follow
very.
the pride.
I'm gonna be very reserved. We'll figure it out. I'll let you know. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're not live anyway, because fucking I don't know what happened today, man. Oh my,
Yeah.
my computer's still not on. It's kind of concerning. I'm laughing, but I'm also kind of terrified of why it's not turning on.
We'll figure it out. But I will let you know. Okay. I'll let you both know. I'll record it and send it to you, and I'll let you know in the morning. Okay.
All right.
Because I literally forgot. I thought I didn't know which way we were going, but we'll figure it out.
Well, yeah, because technically we're in like the future in this episode too. We're kind of-
Exactly. And that's why I hadn't thought about it, because when we talked earlier this week, you're like, "Oh yeah, we could potentially take a week off," and I was like, "Oh yeah, great." Completely spacing the notion that I would need to figure that out.
Well, yeah, I mean, technically it still would be a week off because next week would be this episode. I mean, we can plan that out, not recording on Skype.
Yeah, I'll let you know, okay?
All
And
right.
Nicole, I'll let you know too. We should do Father of the Pride when James is around, though.
Good idea. Okay, that's a good idea.
All right.
Sounds good.
Let's fucking get out of here. Ben's got to sleep.
Deuces. I got her.
Don't do it, Carmen.